welcome to this special webinar where we'll try to understand more about OTT advertising and navigate through some very interesting facets of the Indian OTT ecosystem. So a warm note of thanks to the folks at Pubmatic who helped facilitate this conversation. And let me just start with who all are on the panel today. We have Anil Pandit, who is the Senior Vice President at Publicis Media. He heads programmatic for Precision. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you. Thanks, Rahul, for having me here. Thank you.
Next, we have Virajit Singh, who is the Senior Vice President at MX Player. And Viraj heads revenue for the brand. Hi, Viraj.
Hi, how are you? Great to be here.
Good. And we have Amit Yadav, who is the country manager at Pubmatic. In short, Amit helps OTT publishers maximize their yield and overall helps facilitate more engaging and TV-like ad viewing experiences. Welcome, Amit.
Thank you, Rahul. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so the backdrop of this conversation is that we all know COVID has pushed content consumption levels to an all-time high, and the growth can also be attributed to such massive regional presence of OTT. But brands are following consumers wherever they're going, and OTT therefore is seeing a massive high jump in advertiser interest. See, the OTT category itself is at its peak currently. Right, and OTT platforms like MX Player and Viraj here will sort of validate this. That OTT platforms like MX Player have implemented the most advanced ad tech to study their consumers more closely and to offer far better consumer profiling to advertisers. So the video media buying is also changing in a way. Brands today are talking to individual consumers and highest level of personalization, which is available. And we'll talk to Anil more about that. But let's just start with first everyone giving their views for a minute on about how OTT as a category has grown multifolds and what it means to the respective businesses you all are in. So let's start with Anil, then we'll go to Viraj, and then Amit can come in.
So, rightly put in there, Rahul. Right, no doubt OTT has come a long way and it's here to stay for a longer time. It has, in fact, from our perspective, it has considerably democratized the entire video consumption, if I may say. And it's in a way, it has also helped advertisers to do data-driven advertising on audiences which were primarily considered to be within a TV advertising genre. But now it has crossed that particular border, and now you have access to a more rich insights of those same consumers within different content genres, and you can easily now target them with more inputs that you have, more data that you have. So I think with people spending more time, consumers spending more time on this medium, it's apt to say that brands need to follow where the consumers are spending time, and that is what will help both the consumers and the advertisers and the OTT players in the long
run. Okay, I think the OTT business, the ecosystem is at its nascent stage. I think we've just about started, getting to where we need to go to. There's a long way ahead for us, and we're at the beginning of the journey. As Anil rightly said, it's today the consumption of OTT is personal, right? It's the largest consumption happens on your mobile phone, and over a period of time, obviously, we will see that going into connected TV as well. And because it's personal consumption, there's obviously two sides to the importance of that. One is that the publisher must understand each consumer independently, and therefore there is a lot of data that is collected, on a publisher's side, like MX specifically, that allows us to understand the requirements and the behavior of a consumer, leading that into giving them more personalized content. Data that we're collecting is also used for advertising, because if you understand a consumer better and if you're able to personalize the advertising offered to that person, then you're also allowing that person to lean into the advertising because it's relevant advertising today.
OTT advertising is still at its nascent stage, but it presents fantastic opportunity for advertisers. Because if the tech is right, it can deliver TV-like experience to the viewers, and it has the ability to do what TV does in terms of storytelling for brands, and with added benefits of targeting, analytics, and interactivity of digital media thrown in. However, it doesn't. It's not all rosy there. There are a lot of challenges. First and the foremost is around the viewer experience. Um, you are as good as the worst ad served on your platform, right? So the quality of the ad must match the quality of the content. Viewers, when they are on the OTT, they expect the same high quality ad experience as they are used to on TV. So no pixelated ads, no buffering, no seeing the same ads again and again. But right now, the complicated tech and the workflows and the ability of the publisher to stitch together advertising content and aggregate the entire demand from multiple sources at one place, all this leads to latency and ad load issues, and that's where the biggest challenge lies from a publisher point of view or from a user point of view. And if you look at from an advertiser point of view, um, the advertisers want to replicate the exact same model that they have been doing on TV on the OTT platform. So they want competitive exclusions. They don't want back-to-back same ads running. They don't want the same category ad running in the same ad slot. So what I'm trying to say is the tech needs to evolve in such a manner that it is able not to just optimize the ad slot, but the entire ad pod. So which basically serves the needs of the publisher, as in the users, and also the advertisers.
Sure, Amit. Let's go to Anil then. Anil, help us understand. Uh, is OTT the only reasonable alternative for traditional TV audiences today?
So now this is a good question because basis what Viraj and Amit said just now, right? If you look at the number of hours being spent by the users on OTT, right? And you'll be surprised that around 40 minutes per session is being devoted to OTT by a user, and it's like 70 minutes per day, right, on OTT as a user. Now these are huge numbers, and if the only lacuna on TV advertising, or if I may say that via TV advertising, if you wanted to just harp on reach and frequency, here you have a medium where you not only can do that, but added to that, you have additional data points, insights, which makes it more addressable in nature, which earlier it did not have any opportunity. So I think this OTT is the most sought after medium after TV in terms of traditional TV audiences, but it may not be the only one, because if you look at just the video content as a format, then this is one of the biggest ones, no doubt about it. But added to that, we are also hearing about, say, for example, programmatic out-of-home inventory, where even the video content is being looked at now. So as video content consumption increases, as different formats increases, there will be different mediums along with TV. But after TV, as of now, of course, it is OTT which is ruling the roost.
Sure. And right. And Viraj, brand wants to target consumers in more than ever targeted ways. So how well do OTT players today know their consumers?
Well, like I said, at least MX Player has we are a tech-first platform, so we have a very sound foundation of technology, and that's when we started as a local media player. that was the reason why we were a successful app for many years, was because of the technology we brought to the table. And we lead from that to be able to collect, like I mentioned earlier, the quality information that we require about a user. And it goes beyond plain simple age, gender, geo, which is hygiene today, to behavioral. And therefore, you're able to offer, advertisers today far more granular targeting. It could be intent-based, it could be interest-based, it could be behavioral-based, psychographic, and so on and so forth. Because we have that amount of data that we collect and use excessively to even service our consumer with better recommendations on content.
Understood. Amit, why don't you help us understand the kind of innovations that are in play, and of course with regards to OTT advertising. And innovations are great to talk about because they show thought leadership, creativity. But I'm sure every brand out there wants to know how OTT advertising will become more engaging, more ROI focused. So let's spend a minute there.
See, globally, at this point of time, already about 50% of OTT is transacted programmatically. However, a very small portion of that is actually auction driven. Almost about 90 to 90% of programmatic OTT is transacted via upfront fixed rate deals. You can call them PG, largely because of the concerns I just mentioned in my earlier answer, right? So publishers have quality value concerns. So they know that the setup at this point of time is tag based. So if not PG, then there is a notional loss of inventory. And from a buyer perspective, obviously there are quality concerns in terms of serving the right ad at the right context or content, right? However, the situation has now changed. A lot of buyers are now shying away from upfront commitments. They want the flexibility of pricing, which is based on whatever their targeting is, and different buying models to cater to their requirements, be it ROI or be it even brand, right? And even in the instances where auctions are utilized, those are basically waterfall setups. People who have been there in the display setup know this very well, that this was based on a sequential bidding, which was extremely inefficient because it leaves a lot of money on the table, because prioritization sequentially basically limits advertising opportunity. OTT publishers need control over the automated solutions, and then being able to aggregate the entire demand at one source or one level, and doing an auction and then maximizing the yield is something that should basically give better ROI to the buyers and better yield to the publishers without compromising on the viewing experience, which is the most critical. I keep saying that that's most critical because if you have the user, you have the advertising, right? So you cannot compromise on that. And that's where PubMatic has been playing very critical role. We have been focusing on OTT, both CTV and in-app for almost about 2 years now. And early in 2020, we introduced our OpenWrap OTT. So, and that product has helped a lot of buyers to basically create an ad pod like a situation, and creating a seamless experience both for advertisers and publishers alike when it comes to serving the ad and when it comes to optimizing the ROIs.
Yeah, we get that, Amit. So, Anil, OTT players today are capable of talking about both incremental reach and high engagement. So, can you take us through the journey of a user from upper funnel of marketing to lower funnel on OTT platforms?
Okay, so Rahul, as Amit pointed out, right? I think a large part of this buying is happening programmatically, no doubt. The other aspect is when we talk about moving monies or looking at the audiences or moving say TV audiences to OTT, right? We are largely looking at the addressable audiences and how we can address this audiences in a much better way in the OTT environment. Now, when we look at the funnel, it is largely as of now the top funnel where most of the advertisers are looking at OTT at, right? And that is precisely more from targeting, more from reach perspective, or rather incremental reach, or rather building of frequency along with the other buying that we do, right? Uh, and to a little extent, the upper funnel, say the awareness phase and the intent stage, but we are yet to see, say, success happening at the bottom funnel, which is more prominently the performance marketers where they look at, right? Say the cost, the lead generation, or the cost per leads, or cost per installs, and so such kind of metrics. That is still far fetched as of now in terms of OTT.
So, Virat, like we were talking before, OTT today is often compared to TV, uh, primarily because of its format, nothing else, and with social platforms because how well you understand your consumers, right? So, tell me, how does OTT AdX compares to TV and print, and will OTT advertising ever supersede ads on social platforms because of a more brand safe environment it provides?
So, if you're talking about AdX, I think at the beginning of the year, the reports basically were talking about the next 5 years, and if I look at digital, not OTT, but if I look at digital, then digital would supersede print in about a year or so, supersede television in about maybe 3 years or 4 years. I think of the digital pie today, video is about 20-25%, and it's probably the fastest growing AdX pie when it comes to digital specifically. But if you look at recent reports, that is maybe a couple of months ago, post the first quarter of COVID, you see that digital has already superseded print because there was obviously COVID has had negative effects across all categories of AdX, but the least was on digital, and this primarily this sort of sustenance of AdX on digital is being led by video, right? And video is being grown by OTT more than any other platform. So that's one. When it comes to television, I think we still have a few years before the digital ecosystem takes over video, not OTT. Obviously, the reach that television brings to the table, or the scale, if you're talking about the entire ecosystem, we are still, while we're 60 OTTs, look at the number of channels that they have. So, that's a much larger comparison. But I don't see any reason why in another couple of years we won't be equal, if not surpass, television as a digital pie. So, digital, is growing much faster than anyone else. When we looked at MX and we looked at consumption patterns, our consumption curve was flatlined. So, from about 11 o'clock in the morning, and this is the first month and a half, to midnight, the time spent per hour was exactly the same. Ideally you have two peaks, but there wasn't any in the first month and a half. And that led to a lot of people realizing how important OTT as a tool was when it came to engagement. And that's what's driven, I think, a shift in everyone's thinking of how important OTT is and will be in the future as a marketing opportunity vis-a-vis some of the other categories.
Sure, Viraj. Amit, so far we have been talking about how OTT as a category or as a platform, has immense potential. But what are the challenges which are holding back OTT advertising to grow exponentially? I understand OTT advertising is still at a very nascent stage. Everyone is talking about that. But given a backdrop of that, can you talk about a few challenges?
See, I already talked about a few challenges. I think both from a viewer experience, no viewers actually would want a pixelated or slow buffering or seeing the same ad again and again. If you don't have the tech right, these are some of the major challenges that you will face again and again. And similarly, from a buyer's perspective, the the ad pod business rules like like advertiser, like frequency capping, like category separation. These are all very vital for the buyers. But OTT tech, so to say, or whatever that has been for over the past, I think 3-4 years, has not been able to solve for those problems. And that's where the biggest challenge is, because, like I said, everything is being passed on to guaranteed upfront commitment buys, because it's not getting into auction dynamics. And auction, why it is not getting into auction dynamics? Because the tech is still not in place for some of the OTT players.
But Anil, since Amit talked about a few challenges, Viraj also talked about them. Taking these very challenges into account, how has OTT as a category performed, mainly for advertisers so far? And if you can throw some light on how the new categories fared up, and was the expectation of first-time OTT advertisers met or not? What are your views?
So, before I come to your question, Rahul, let me just, whatever challenges, let me allude to what Amit was saying, right? The challenges, no doubt. We are in a situation where we see, of course, the growth of OTT happening, the consumption happening. There are a lot of things that can be done with the help of OTT, but there are challenges as well, as you said. While there are different OTT players building up their own stack, using DMPs, coming out with new audience sets and so on, but largely, as you said, the buying is happening on a very guaranteed basis, which when we just look at OTT or just one single player is still good. But when we look at the entire thing from an advertiser's perspective, right? They are trying to reach a particular genre of audiences, and they don't want to do it on OTT 1 or OTT 2. If they want to reach a genre of audiences across maybe OTTs, right? Is that possible today? Now, that's not possible as of now. There's frequency capping, that is a big challenge that is hampering this. At the same time, when we talk about programmatic, right, the biggest advantage of programmatic has been media consolidation benefits. While this has been greatly harnessed and the benefits have been achieved across other display and video buys, OTT buys, or even video and audio buys and other display buys, this is largely restricted still in terms of OTT, where the same particular consolidation benefits cannot yet be extended. So while we are saying this, the industry is trying to tackle this, then there is also a problem of a common industry level measurement parameter. There is also a challenge of attribution that we speak about as of now, right? So those, I'm sure these are challenges. And when I compare this to the growth of programmatic, say 10 years back, there were similar challenges, right? But I'm sure and hopeful that the OTT players, and together with all of us, we can cross this bridge as well. Coming to your question, where how is it faring for advertisers? For sure, I can say that largely we are saying that it's the CPG players, is the FMCG players who is largely taking on to this OTT buying, and they are greatly being benefited in terms of whatever the objectives or overall objectives and KPIs that they want to achieve. But yes, there are these challenges, because I have to talk about the benefits and the challenges together, because if we have to make it perfect, we have to iron out these challenges as well. The new players, as I say, as Publicis Media, we have a lot of performance players, Rahul. When I say performance players, there are a lot of BFSI insurance clients who are more attuned towards the lower funnel metrics. That is where, as I earlier pointed out, that is where we have still not seen OTT delivering, or rather, may I say, we have not yet tasted it a lot. But that is something that those players still need to see the benefits of OTT advertising reaching to them, right? But at the top level, at the reach and targeting level, the new players, the existing players across CPG and FMCG, I think they have tested it, and even during the current COVID period, right? We have, without quoting the names, but we have seen the spends of these CPG players on OTTs increasing from what it was pre-COVID era. So that certainly speaks a lot. Yeah.
And Viraj, I think, and we spoke about it, MX Player has more than 200 million MAUs.
Yep.
And your audience understanding is also top of the class, as I have heard. So, what levels of targeting, segmentation, transparency, control, etc., that is available to advertisers these days?
See, when it comes to measurement and transparency, we're open to all third-party trackers, right? We're certified by Mort, DAR, Brand, Sysmic, any of the others that any client would require, and we're more than happy to work with that. We're an ad-led business. If you're not transparent, I don't think that there's any reason to survive. You have to be open to what your client requires, and that's why these third parties work really well. In addition to that, like I said, we can get as granular as we want, right, when it comes to targeting, because the data that we're collecting is our own. We've created our own data management platform that allows us to optimize campaigns on that. But more importantly, then we go and reach out to third-party data partners who help us enhance the data that we have, right? So as long as you've got the basic understanding of what Rahul is and how he behaves on MX Player, I will bring in data from some of the other partners and enrich the experience that I have, so that if I need to sell a specific car to you, then I know that yes, Rahul is someone who is going to buy himself an Audi, right? And therefore the behavior is able to get as granular with everything from, like I said, it could be the hygiene of age, gender, geo, which is what everyone wants today, to getting into interest, intent, psychographic, and every other form of behavioral, because that's what we're able to do now with at least the data that we have and the partners that we're working on.
Sure, Viraj. And Anil, given this high level of targeting available, as just explained by Viraj, how does retargeting work on OTT across screens in real time?
So that's a good question, Rahul. I mean, so retargeting per se does not come very upfront when you talk to OTT players or to advertisers that we want to do retargeting on OTT. But there are two ways to look at it still. So suppose a client has, or an advertiser has, its first party audience, right? One way is that you can either layer that audience on that OTT player that you are trying to reach out to, and say that I only want to show this video to my first party audience when they are coming on this particular platform. Or you can negate that first party audience and say that I want to reach out to more users, negating the first party audience. So that is more about negation and using it, or layering the first party audience on the OTT platform. The other aspect, when you talk about retargeting, I think on the OTT front, it is always followed by targeting. So how I see it is, suppose there is a brand which wants to reach out to, say, females, for example, 18 to 44, right? You have, as Viraj said, with a lot of insights and data that, say, MX Player might be having, we can do a first level exercise, a first level campaign where we reach out to this particular audience in a particular genre with more data cuts that might be provided to OTT, by OTT. And then the user can either be served an impression, she can either watch the entire video completely, she can say, having got the impression served to her, she can either just click it. So you can form different kinds of audiences. You can have audiences who have clicked the video, you can have audiences who have watched the complete video, right? And then you can always get in touch with the agency and the advertiser basis the brief and the objective, and then you can decide that, okay, in the phase 2 of the campaign, can we retarget only people who have, say, only females who have completely watched my video, or can we reach out to females who have just clicked on my video but haven't watched the video completely. So I think these are some of the audience buckets that can be created, and then you can retarget them and deepen your engagement, deepen the engagement of the brand with these users, and then move down the funnel. This is what I was talking about in my previous, that of course you start at the top level, but if your strategy is correct, if the OTT is player is providing you enough data and insights, you can actually push those audiences down the funnel to the intent level, and you can see the complete success happening there.
All right. So we're running out of time. I'll just ask one question to Amit, and I think I'll have another question for Anil. So Amit, last question to you now, and I want to understand this as a thought issue. So what is the rationale behind consumers wanting TV-like experiences? And because as much as I understand, the OTT screen is fluid, and you can easily switch between screens without even changing your viewing experience. But why the experience has to be TV-like? Is it not in the best interest of the ecosystem to call OTT experience a unique one?
See, there are two parts to it. And I will simply say if Anil has to get more budgets from TV advertising, he has to first replicate the model, because TV advertising for years and years has proved to be efficient when it comes to telling story from a brand perspective, when it comes to telling story from a content perspective. TV has been there, right? And it still commands lion's share, right, in terms of budgets. So if you have to get that, if you have to migrate that budget as well as the user from that category, you definitely need to A, replicate, and B, sprinkle it with more benefits, right? And why is that so? Because it's fluid, right? You want experience exactly the same as on a, let's say, on a television. And I'm talking about television as I'm talking about CTV, and also on the, let's say, a mobile phone. I don't know, maybe tomorrow there'll be a third medium where you also have OTT content, right? Now, if the experience is not, like you said, fluid, right? It has to be seamless and fluid across um, the products or the medium that people are consuming. You will break the continuity of the user, right? And if that breaks, like Anil was mentioning about user attribution, it becomes all the more difficult for advertisers to attribute the user across the platform. So a seamless experience for users and also for advertisers is extremely important when it comes to OTT as a content and CTV and mobile as platforms.
Sure, Amit. And very quickly, final question to you. And let's say brands are now really excited after listening to some very meaningful conversations led by you, Amit, Viraj. Now they have decided to spend money, let's say. What are the ways they can buy OTT advertising? And I'm sure each method will have a trade-off. And talking about that, what is the best method you suggest? And then we'll end our session with that.
Sure, Rahul. I think again, Amit did touch upon this when he was talking about the tech portion, but largely, right, when we say, so as mentioned, I think 50% of the buying is already happening via programmatic on OTTs, right? Now, when you look at the way it is being bought largely today, that is, first of all, we should understand that it is being looked at as a replication of, say, TV buying, and the best way to do that is to do a guaranteed buy. Now, largely there can be three ways of buying OTTs, OTT inventory or audiences. Either you can go via an auction method. Second, you can either go programmatic direct, and then programmatic guaranteed, right? But what we are seeing today is largely it is happening in the programmatic guaranteed fashion, right? Where the volume and the budget is clearly defined, and the targeting and everything is applied at the OTT end, right? But if you want to, if the buyer, if the advertiser wants to layer its own targeting, they want to layer its own specifics of reaching out to the audiences within the OTT, you'll have to go via the programmatic direct route, where the auction still takes place, but then there are chances of not meeting the scale. The match rates are an issue, because what you are trying to, or what the audience that you are trying to reach out to may not match with the audience being provided by the OTT, and then we see a drop in scale and so on. Third is the auction model, where of course it's nothing is guaranteed there. You don't know where your advertising gets served, right? But you have access to OTT inventory in the auction model. But then there's a huge problem in scale, right? And you may not even end up meeting having spent the right amount of budget that you intended to, right, when you started out. So all this leaves us with one model of buying largely, which is now as the programmatic guaranteed. So I think going forward that needs to change, so that we are able to apply more control, more targeting, and more consumer insights that we have at our end over what OTT is providing to us.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anil. And it was pleasure hosting you all, Anil, Amit, Viraj. You all have been really wonderful and patient. And thank you so much for coming and joining us today for this webinar.